New on 6 News at 6, the roof of Jefferson County High School collapses. Firefighters are on scene right now trying to find the cause. Plus, all this rain is proving hazardous for drivers in Knox County. We'll tell you what roads are shut down due to flooding.
Still some rainfall across the area, but will it be a little drier to start out the work week? I'll have your forecast coming up on WATE 6, Sunday News at 6.
Now, live from East Tennessee's first television station, this is 6 News at 6.
The roof caves in on Jefferson County High School. Firefighters are on the scene tonight trying to prevent further damage. We'll have a live report straight ahead. Plus, first responders have been busy all weekend long as heavy rain causes hazardous conditions for drivers and shuts down entire streets. Good evening, I'm Jill McNeal. As rain continues to pummel East Tennessee, part of Jefferson County High School has collapsed and firefighters are on the scene tonight trying to contain it. The damaged building houses the drama department and vocational classes. Luckily, no one was inside when the roof crumbled. 6 News reporter Samantha Manning joins us now live from Dandridge. And Samantha, what's the latest there at the scene?
Jill, it's the building known as Building 8 where the collapse happened, and that's where a lot of those vocational classes took place, like welding and shop. It's also where they had their drama classes. Now, if you take a look, you can see a lot of the materials from those classrooms have started to pile up underneath where the roof caved in. Now, fire officials say the exact cause of the collapse is unclear, but they do believe all this rain we've been seeing has been a factor. Now, rescue teams don't believe that anyone was inside the building during the time of the collapse, though they have been checking to be sure. The Dandridge Fire Chief says this building was almost 40 years old and wasn't in the best shape to begin with. Now, we told you how the Jefferson County Commission voted back in 2010 to allocate $64 million for renovations to the school. And while there are other parts being worked on right now, we're told the part that collapsed is not part of those renovations. The Knoxville Rescue Squad is helping with the investigation to figure out whether there were any other nearby buildings that could also be in danger of collapsing. For now, the fire officials are working on making sure the area is as safe as possible.
As you can see, we don't have any bracing or anything up right now. We're kindly just we're creating a safe zone. We've already created a safety area in the process of getting those coned off in case we do have further collapse, make sure our guys are not in it. The biggest safety concern is for our guys, the first responders and the rescuers on site until we can make sure that we can get everything secured before we can even go in there and take a look at it.
We'll let employees know not to be on campus tomorrow, really not to be on campus until further notice, until we're cleared by fire, structural engineers, because again, we don't want anybody getting hurt.
Now, Jefferson County High School is the only high school in the entire county, and we have reached out to the school board to figure out what exactly this all means for the students who are heading back to classes next month, and we are waiting to hear back from them. Now, coming up tonight at 11, I actually speak with a man who saw the collapse unfold, and he says he made the call to 911. Reporting live in Jefferson County, Samantha Manning, 6 News.
All right. Thank you, Samantha. Well, we are now here in the Storm Center with meteorologist Ken Weathers. And Ken, a lot of viewers have reported flooding throughout our area. We see it there behind us. Wow. On our WATE 6 News Facebook page, Crystal Wallace posting this video of East Broadway in Maryville. You can see drivers trying to make their way through the high water there. And Patch Cotter posted these pictures, the baseball fields at Lake City, home of the Lakers. Wow, that's a mini lake now itself. Also in Blount County, the storms knocked over a tree, revealing a large sinkhole in one woman's front yard. Kayla Wilson sent us these pictures. The tree actually fell on her house. That sinkhole, she says, is about 15 to 20 feet wide and several feet deep. And in Roane County, a viewer sent us this video of heavy flooding. Wow. Pam Bolden says the rain washed away her driveway in Harriman. You can see there the water going right up to her neighbors' front porches. So, Ken, it has been really treacherous out there, kind of scary to see what everyone's dealing with.
It has, and as we approach nighttime, getting close to it anyway, the flooded roadway is going to take a while to go down, so travel carefully tonight. Don't drive through any flooded roadways. Good news is, Jill, the coverage of the rain starting to decrease a bit. Still some heavier pockets, though, across the area, so travel carefully. Some heavier rainfall just east of the Athens area, north of Etowah, heading towards Madisonville, and up further to the north, some scattered rain showers, as you can see in Jefferson County between Dandridge and Jefferson City, right along the interstate. Now, the airport today, 2.12 inches of rainfall so far. That's almost 5 inches for the month. 45 3/4 inches for the year. By the way, the average yearly rainfall in Knoxville, 47.86. So we're just about 2 inches away from reaching our full year's worth of rain, and we're just in the first few days of July. Here's some other rainfall totals for you across the area here at WATE. Just under 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches in Lenoir City, 1.86 Rockwood, 1.6 in Kingston, Jefferson City, just over 3/4 of an inch, nearly 2 inches in Clinton, and over 1 3/4 inches in Maryville. A little bit more tonight, but a little quieter to start the work week, Jill. Forecast details in a minute.
All right, thank you, Ken. Well, here in Knox County, the heavy rainfall caused a lot of traffic problems, resulting in entire roads being shut down for safety. 6 News reporter Haley Harmon has more on how drivers are faring as the rain continues to fall.
I'm over it. I've had enough.
The persistent rain that has pounded East Tennessee for days isn't letting up yet, continuing to soak the area and wreaking havoc on people just trying to get around.
It's been tough. We've had 2 or 3 detours this morning just going to church, and it's very unusual. Westland's the worst I've ever seen it.
Parts of Ayler Avenue were shut down for flooding, but not before some drivers got stuck in it and had to be towed out. A portion of Baxter Avenue was also blocked off after the creek that runs underneath it overflowed, sending water rushing over the roadway. Fire crews had to rescue a man from his car after he tried to drive through the water and his car stalled. Officials say he's lucky he didn't get swept away as the water rose.
There are drownings associated with swift water.
Every time it rains like this, fire officials want to remind drivers to never attempt to drive across the road that has water moving across it like this. They say it could appear to just be a few inches deep, but even a few inches just like this is all it takes to lift your car up off the ground. They say always turn around because this amount of rain can make things dangerous very quickly.
You come through, 15 minutes later, the road's covered up with water.
Local residents say they are fed up with all this wet weather.
Living here in Seattle, it's pretty bad. It's what it feels like.
One woman says that it has rained so much.
I don't remember, and I'm old, it ever raining like this.
That her daughter's windshield wipers just gave up today.
Coming back, the only way she could get back was stick her head out the window so she could see. I'm ready. I'm gonna say praise the Lord when it stops.
In Knoxville, Haley Harmon, 6 News.
And it's not just roads. A train derailment in West Knoxville today also being blamed on the weather. The Norfolk Southern train went off the tracks around 10 this morning near Westland Drive in Cessna. Authorities on the scene say the train hit a tree branch that had fallen onto the track, sending several cars off course. We're told the train was carrying commodities like grain. No one was injured, and crews are still working now to clear that scene. The weather has forced several fireworks shows to cancel for this weekend. Townsend's fireworks show was supposed to go on tonight, but officials now say they are moving it to Labor Day. And Lenoir City's Rock in the Docks will now be tomorrow, but Oak Ridge's 4th of July show is still on schedule for tonight. For a full list of events, dates, and times, just visit our website, WATE.com. A Hawkins County teen is dead after an ambulance hits her car. State troopers say the crash happened around 10:30 last night at the intersection of U.S. Highway 11 and Silver Lake Road. According to the report, an ambulance hit 18-year-old Samantha Hathaway's car before hitting 2 other cars. Hathaway died in the crash. We're told 9 other people were injured. THP says the ambulance was working an emergency call and their investigation continues. Well, still to come here on 6 News, the 2 people killed in yesterday's San Francisco plane crash have now been identified. Authorities are saying it's a miracle the death toll wasn't higher. Details when we come back. You are watching WATE 6 Sunday News at 6.
You're watching WATE 6 News at 6.
A California coroner has identified the 2 people who died in that horrible plane crash at San Francisco's International Airport yesterday. The victims are 2 16-year-old girls who were visiting from China. Over 300 people survived that crash, which many are calling a miracle. ABC's Tamon Bradley has more on how investigators are working to piece together what happened.
It is nothing short of a miracle that we had literally 123 people walk away from this.
The day after Asiana Airlines Flight 214 slammed into the ground at San Francisco's International Airport, even the experts are still amazed.
The incredible devastation to that aircraft. We are very thankful that we only have a small number of fatalities and injuries. It could have been a lot worse.
The Boeing 777, with more than 300 passengers and crew, apparently snagged the breakwater just ahead of the runway, snapping off its tail.
It just like fell on the tail section. It smashed down with this thunderous sound.
And bang, the impact was so strong.
The crippled aircraft finally scraped to a halt some 80 feet from the runway, leaving behind a sprawling debris trail before bursting into flames and smoke.
See fire a lot more, smoke coming out, explosion coming out.
Those who survived can only marvel at their good fortune.
We all are safe, so I feel lucky.
Some remain in the hospital.
Large amounts of abdominal injuries, a huge amount of spine fractures, some of them which include paralysis.
The data and voice recorders have already revealed an anomaly as the plane tried to land.
Airspeed was slowed below the target airspeed.
The recorders also revealed that just before impact, an alarm mechanism told the pilots that a stall was imminent. Timon Bradley, ABC News, San Francisco.
3 of the 4 runways in San Francisco are now back in service tonight, but serving only a limited number of flights. Still to come, what investigators in Canada are now saying caused this train explosion that killed several people yesterday. And the latest in Egypt as protesters fill Tahrir Square. We'll also hear from State Senator Bob Corker on the turmoil there when we come back.
You're watching WATE 6 News at 6.
A little girl's wish to go to Disney World has come true thanks to the support of her community. Brooklyn Shaw from Monroe County was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma just over a year ago. She's been through several rounds of chemotherapy. What she wanted most was to visit Disney World, and she finally made it. Brooklyn's aunt posted these photos to our 6 News Facebook page of the little girl having a blast at Disney, even getting her picture taken with her favorite mouse. We're told all those Disney characters helped Brooklyn get through months of grueling cancer treatments, and now she finally got to meet them.
Great story there. Here's something interesting. 72 degrees. That was it for the high temperature today. So we actually tied a record low maximum, meaning it's the coolest temperature we've seen for a high on this date. Compared to last year, 97 degrees. If we could have just not had the flooding rains, right? Maybe been a little bit better across the region. All right, what we are seeing outside right now, some breaks in the clouds across the western part of Knoxville. That's the TIS Insurance Services building there looking towards the west. Storm Tracker 6 showing a few scattered showers still across the area, as you can see, especially down towards the south. Not as widespread or heavy as earlier, but still some pockets of moderate rain. That's eastern sections of McMinn County moving into western Monroe County. There's Madisonville right there, so it's kind of moving right up 411, sliding towards the north and east. And there's some heavy rain right on the Georgia-Tennessee border. This is right where it meets up with North Carolina, so that's probably going to miss most of our area, but some spotty showers near Chattanooga moving north could still spread a few downpours across the area, especially South Valley, as we go through early tonight. Should be a little quieter overnight tonight. Now tomorrow we'll see a little bit of sunshine, but with all the moisture in the ground, it's going to make things very steamy. Clouds are going to billow up pretty quickly, and we may see a few more pop-up showers tomorrow. I don't think it'll be quite as widespread, but they could be on the strong side and could dump some heavy rainfall. But a better opportunity of more widespread rain comes in by the middle of the week. All right, some light rain outside and 68 degrees. That's it for the current temperature right now. We may get to about 70 by midnight if it stops raining, but for the most part, we're going to stay in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. Tomorrow morning, 68. So temperatures really won't change much from where we are. Still kind of soggy tomorrow morning, some damp ground for sure, and some patchy fog, so watch for that. By the afternoon, variably cloudy, some random storms, but mainly just steamy. Temperatures right around 85 degrees. So not a lot of sunshine tomorrow, but maybe we'll see a little bit. Here's some good news. Again, the water vapor loop. This is basically looking inside the atmosphere, seeing where the moisture is. The brighter white and the green, that's the moist air. The darker colors, that's the dry air. This was 6 o'clock this morning. Look how this has moved eastward throughout the day today. We are finally starting to see some drier air work its way in, which is good, which means the steadier rainfall should taper off. Now again, still some isolated showers for the next little bit till after sunset, but by 11 we're not seeing much across the area, just some lingering showers over towards the Smokies. We start out Monday morning relatively dry, as you can see. Through the afternoon Monday, a pop-up shower here or there possible, and again, if we see one, could be on the stronger side with some heavier downpours of rain and maybe some gusty winds, kind of the last thing we need with a lot of moisture in the ground. trees are not real steady right now, so we'll keep a close eye on that for sure. But again, few and far between as we go through the day on our Monday, as you can see. I think it's a similar pattern in here for Tuesday, just some pop-up showers and storms, but more likely the wet weather moves in Wednesday into Thursday as a cold front moves into the area. Now, usually this time of year, cold fronts do not work their way south. They stall out along the Tennessee-Georgia border. It's just what usually happens, but this has been anything but usual this summer. I think at this point it's going to move south, which means a drier, less humid late week and weekend. Again, Jill, maybe it's wish casting, but we'll keep our fingers crossed that it's right.
Works for me. Thanks,
Okay.
Ken. Well, Egyptian protesters took to the streets again today, where for weeks arguments have turned to clashes. Supporters of the deposed President Mohamed Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood rallied today in Cairo to demand his reinstatement. On the other side of the city, opponents of Morsi packed Tahrir Square, shooting off celebratory fireworks. Rocks have flown, knives have flashed, and gunfire has cracked through the air, leaving bodies on the ground. More than 30 people have died and 1,400 have suffered injuries since Wednesday's coup. Meanwhile, Senator Bob Corker releasing a statement tonight. He says the U.S. should use this as an opportunity to support the Egyptian people seeking a peaceful, secure, and inclusive government.
I do think that our nation sometimes thinks that going to the ballot box is democracy, and I do think that there is a rush from time to time to try to move countries in that direction too quickly. I don't think Egypt is mature yet in that regard, and I think we need that. This right now is an excellent opportunity, another chance for us to work with them in that regard.
Egypt is the most populous Arab country in the world and has long been a close ally of the United States, which supported it with military aid during Mubarak's 30-year dictatorship. Well, 5 people are now confirmed dead after yesterday's train crash in Canada. The train carrying 70 cars stocked with crude oil rolled unattended for almost 7 miles in Quebec before derailing and exploding. The cars burst into an inferno which continues to burn. We're told 40 people are still missing. Much of the crude oil spilled into a local river. Officials say the train dislodged after being parked, causing the accident. One man has drowned in North Carolina after trying to save another man who had fallen into rushing water. Man was apparently carrying a dog across Rushing Falls in Yadkin River yesterday when he slipped. Bystanders witnessed the fall and attempted to rescue him, but one of the rescuers did not make it back. The man and his dog made it out of the river safely. A total of 4 people, though, had to be rescued during that incident. There are still a few more hours left until the end of the 4th of July safety campaign tonight. THP's No Refusal Weekend allows officers to obtain a warrant for a blood sample if a person is suspected of impaired driving. This is video of one of those checkpoints from this weekend in Sevier County. Officers are not only looking for drivers under the influence of alcohol, but also those impaired by drugs. The checkpoints end at 11:59 tonight. Well, up next in sports, it's a gold rush for one current ball basketball player overseas today. And another Tennessee star forges an unlikely friendship with a player fans love to hate.